I'm Johnny, and I'm a fish passage / road stream crossing technician.
And my name is Amani. We're basically doing assessments of areas where roads or trails or other types of structures will pass over waterways. So that can look like a culvert, can look like a bridge, can look like even a dam, for example. And we're doing all different types of measurements and qualitative assessments to look at how well they are facilitating the passage of fish.
It's super important for fish, and not just fish, but all sorts of aquatic invertebrates like mussels or dragonfly larvae, all that kind of stuff that you would see in streams, creeks, rivers. They need us because we have contributed so much to habitat fragmentation that it's super important for us to take care of the culverts, bridges, dams that we put in place, because a lot of these things are instant barriers for species. For dams, fish can't get past it, they can't go upstream anymore. Or for crushed culverts, they can't swim through them, or if the culverts are too plugged, like full of debris from storms or high flooding events like we all had an experience earlier this year, that really wrecks a lot of the infrastructure that we've built. And a lot of the infrastructure of road stream crossings was built in a time where they didn't know exactly the implications of what they were doing, and so they weren't built for fish, mussels, invertebrates. They were built for humans and human accessibility, and we really need to reframe the way that we look at things to focus on our waterways as well.
People rely on fish, whether there's a source of food, a source of recreation, especially in the Clinton River watershed, where there's lots of people that are very environmentally friendly or environmentally passionate. Fish are actually very integral in a lot of the life cycles of other animals throughout rivers and streams. So mussels are actually an animal that you might not think moves very much. They actually use fish as kind of like a little waterway taxi, if you will. They'll just let go of their babies, and the juvenile mussels will they'll attach to the fish, and then they'll get carried throughout the water. And that's how their populations will grow. That's how they'll share their genetic diversity. Is through those fish movements. So by trying to track where there are areas where there's maybe culverts that are blocking fish patches, that's actually blocking the passage and the movement, as well as other animals like mussels. Mussels are, unfortunately, very reduced in their populations. They will provide habitat for lots of other macroinvertebrates. They will their intention is to have them filter the water by eating bacteria and other things floating throughout the water column. Now that their populations have decreased so heavily, it's kind of really a big important thing to do to try and increase those populations and trying to protect them as much as we can, because of how important they are to serving those different ecosystem functions.
So we spend first day of the week planning out the sites for the week, where we're going to go in the watershed. We started with the North Branch sub-watershed, went to the Stony Creek sub-watershed, and now we're working our way through the Paint Creek watershed. And so we go out to these sites, we have a plan, we tend to work north to south or upstream to downstream, and we do our surveys anywhere from 5 to 10 a day, go to different sites all over, get to talk to a lot of homeowners about the importance of these culverts. They are also very insightful. It's shocking the amount of people that I've talked to that want to take care of the water that they have going through their property, or the water that they fish in, or there's a lot of curiosity with this kind of stuff, and it's super important that we are there to help educate people and also learn about our home watershed. So the first thing on our survey is talking about the approaches, and you look at these approaches to see if water were to fall in a rain event or from flooding, where would it drain? And for a majority of these sites, the stream is the lowest point, so the water would be draining towards the stream. And so after we do the approaches, that's when we move on to the actual assessment of the culvert itself, getting the width, height, depth of the water, the velocities at both ends of the culvert, because sometimes it's flowing super fast at the inlet and then it slows down a lot at the outlet, and that could be some sort of issue with the culvert's design. And going from there, we take photos of the whole thing, we do a site sketch to kind of map out what the area looks like, take note of any sort of abnormalities boulders dumped into the creek like we saw today to modify flow for some reason, or it's a bunch of random pipes coming out, or a fire hydrant that uses water straight from the creek.
It's honestly like a really cool combination of biological factors, physical factors, some engineering factors, and even some like social factors. So we're kind of doing an assessment like of all different fields to kind of get a holistic view of how the whatever structure we're measuring or evaluating is doing. So once we fill out the sheet, it gets uploaded to a dashboard of all the different site assessments across the entire survey. We then have been, after we look at the data and corrections and things like that, we've been working on translating that data so that we can collect it and have our own like map of the watershed for the Clinton River and all the different sub-watersheds we're looking, and then being able to have that data and transform it into our own dashboard as well.
Yeah. And we're also sending our data off to whoever's responsible for the roads or the culverts after the fact, because there is one section in our protocol about time sensitivity, and a lot of the culverts that we see do require time sensitive maintenance, where it's like an outlet is completely gone, or some sort of multitude of different things could be going on, but a lot of different things lead to hopefully fixing these things that are broken. Take a moment to look around yourself. I mean, on a day-to-day basis, I've counted from the office to my home, I cross over at least 12 culverts or bridges that are significant enough for me to see while driving. And I'm aware of them now, and I'm aware of every piece of litter, every piece of tire runoff. Just it all flows to the same place, and we all have to take care of our freshwater ecosystems. And I just hope that everybody can learn a little bit and be more willing to make tiny changes to hopefully better impact the watershed.
Yeah, I'd also say one thing I've kind of enjoyed and also kind of felt intrigued about over the summer is noticing like the difference in the variety in the sites we've assessed. A lot of people just don't realize these things, even though there's some of them in your backyard, quite literally. Yeah, it gets gotten to the point where when we're not at work, we'll like be passing a bridge or a culvert or something, and you're like, and you just recognize something that you're doing every day.
That needs to be fixed.
Yeah.